Welcome to Happiness Matters Podcast Edition. I'm Goddess Valentina, the Healing Goddess. I have a passion and quest to help anyone whose heart is open to receive enlightenment, love, and just a heartfelt message. I will continue to add to the universe light and inspiration for the people. When you feel better, you do better. This message was inspired by my husband, and it's called Children Blessings. Now, if you are just listening to me or have listened to some of my messages, you know that I have an Esty shop and I'm an energy healer, and I just absolutely love energy and, the power that we all hold within ourselves to be just radiant beings. And so our children are so illuminating, so radiant, filled with so much promise, and they have so much to offer to our future, and we need to invest in them. We need to love them. We need to inspire them, but we also need to protect them. Children, I think children, they keep it real, especially, little babies and stuff like that, because they're not corrupted, they're not damaged, they're not influenced by anything. And it's just their sensories, their feeling sensories are so high. And, if the vibe is not right, the child will let you know and start crying and just not fidgety and just not happy. And especially when there's somebody, an energy or person that comes to them and they just stiffen up, they don't respond, or they just start wailing. And I love children for that. I think children are great energy indicators, and we need to really, they are also our protectors. We need to protect them, but they let us know if you're really in tune to it, instead of thinking, oh, the child is making so much noise, I'm just getting irritated. No, listen to what the child is telling you indirectly. The child is talking to you, and unfortunately, their language of sounds, but we need to just slow down a bit and really just take a deep breath and look at the child in the child's eyes and look at what's going on and say, hey, what's going on? Talk to me. You're talking to me, but teach me more of how I can help you. You know what I mean? And the child will give you information. Now, I want to share something with you, and it's a really deep story. And this is to my point about how wonderful children are and how they're great on sensing energy. And part 2 on how energy blessings for children is so essential. So unconsciously, we make promises or things to ourself and our subconscious that we don't know. And when we find out when we're trying to get a result, it's not manifesting. And it's because we have put in blockages and shackles in our subconscious. And I realized this working with gemstones and working with the black obsidian stone. Oh, let me tell you, if you just get, I was working with yoni eggs, but, and they're big enough gemstones. So if you get a sphere, if you get a nice size stone, you could really hold and work with it. I would recommend like a medium sized stone or a little bit larger, just to really get the energy going with that stone. All of these things that are locked deep down, buried inside our subconscious, starts to come up. And with this stone, to me, it's like the truth stone. I just immediately start crying, or I get images when I'm doing deep meditation of something, or it'll just come out of my mouth. And I've had some issues with my mom, growing up. Still do, but being now an energy healer, I know just, I keep a nice distance away. I live in a completely different state from my mother, and I'm still about maybe like an hour and 45 minutes away by drive, but it's just enough distance for me not to get damaged, and conversations are only when needed. And unfortunately, I really wish I had that deeper relationship, but I just can't. It just doesn't work out. She has a lot of things that she needs to work on and repair, which she hasn't done, which causes me to learn how to protect myself from being destroyed, you know? So anyway, with that little history, I said to myself, maybe when I was a teenager or something, I don't know when, but I was afraid to have children so because I was scared that I was going to be like my mother, or the DNA would be passed through my child, and my child could end up acting like my mom or something like that. It was something that I said to myself, and then for many years I wasn't around children. And before I said this, because I said it out of anger, before I said this, children loved me. I was like a nanny when I was like a teenager. I was always taking care of the kids in the building, helping them with their homework. I just took them to ballet school and music class. I just loved being with the children. I was very much a protector and a guardian. And when I made this promise, it had to be honest, maybe in my late 20s, early 30s. I don't know when, but I can't tell you. But there was a shift that happened, and no children would come to me. No children would look at me, and they would stay close to their mom. But children never came to me again, and I thought I had some kind of curse. And we always think that there's someone's putting curses on us when we can curse ourselves far more easier than somebody else. And I was just like, okay, that's just the way it is. It did bother me a little because I knew how kids did love me, and I just didn't know what was the problem now, and I wasn't, at that time I really wasn't using my psychic gifts, or my gifts, or maybe there are psychic gifts. I have no idea. And so I started working with the Black Obsidian stone probably about 2 years ago. And this came out of my mouth. What I said earlier, like, you think I want to have kids knowing the kind of mother you have? And I don't know, I was just talking all of this nasty grit coming out of my mouth. And I'm just like, okay, where is this coming from? And why am I being so disgusting? And it was because I was working with the stone. And I said to myself, oh my God. This was like a belch or burp, of something deep in my cells, in my subconscious. And it just came out of my mouth. And I said, wow, that's crazy. And I was just like, may I have healing in this area? And let me tell you, you want to hear an energy shift? Children started to come up to me. The first child, I was eating at a little store, and I was sitting at the little stool, and she said, "Can I sit next to you?" And I said, "Okay." And she got up on the chair, sat next to me. She goes, "Can you open my bag of chips?" I'm like, "Okay, where's your mom here?" I opened my bag of chips for her, and we started eating lunch together. And it was such a beautiful, peaceful moment. The next was a child just ran to me and just hugged my leg. And then there was another child that saw me in the supermarket and was smiling and laughing with me. And, and then what I loved the most, there was just one beautiful child named Joshua. And At first, when he saw me, he would always hold his mother's leg. And then when I opened up, he was always like, became joyous to see me. But I would say maybe in 3 weeks ago, when I saw him, he didn't pay attention to anyone in the store. It was only me. And he looked at me like, wow. Like, because I look so, I guess my energy is so bright. And he just looked at me, his eyes opened up like he saw Mickey Mouse. And I wasn't doing anything. I just looked at him. And he was just like, wow, and he had this big smile. And I was just so excited because children, are such great teachers. And that really touched my heart. And I'll never forget that day. And I'm just like, yes, job well done. I got healing in this area. And it really meant a lot to me. And so what I want to tell you is that we also need to protect our children. And we all kinds of energies will come up to children, and children need to also have their protective shield as well. So me and my husband created a wonderful angelic, precious, beloved child blend, and it's a very gentle, very loving, very protective incense blend. And what the parent guardian will do is they will burn a little incense on the charcoal provided in the kit, and you just lightly just move the smoke around your child and pray. And it will come with a beautiful little angel that you can have blessed. You can also smoke it with the incense too. The prayers of a parent are so powerful. And I was taught this. They're so powerful. I was told that there's God, and then it's the prayers of a parent. And that's how powerful they are. And because you've been blessed with a gift of the guardian of this child, and so you have a very special place and what you're doing. And so pray over your children. And if you pray on this little angel, and it holds your energy, you know what I mean? And everything is energy, and you put your intentions to it. You could smoke it out with the beautiful blends, and you protect your children. The children have been susceptible to so much violence on the news these days, so much bullying, so much hate. It's going on in the schools, and it's quite disturbing because children are our youth, and they have the most beautiful, pure soul if they're in these right environments. So, we need to protect our children. I've talked to people, they get the crystal little chips, and they put it on their children's hair, protective stones, or they'll get like a little in like the back of their shirts. They will sew where the little tag is in the back. They'll put crystals in that and sew the sides up. So like in all the clothes a child wears, they always have protective crystals on them. There's so many different ways of doing this. So I would really, think about having a beautiful blessing. There's blessings, the incense blessings that we create for, adults and stuff like that. I really wanted to be very gentle and to find something and to pray and to ask God, and, with the help and of the angels, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Shamriel, and Archangel Uriel, to work with us. Raphael too. I think I said that right. Yeah. To work with me to create a beautiful formula for the children and to make it golden and bright and strong, because, our kids are they're just so precious and should be protected at all costs, especially if you've been gifted as a guardian. And, you need to also be, cleansed and purified yourself. It's an important role being a parent. And and healing and protecting is the way to go. So think about this. I will be adding my listing soon for this, and I'm so excited because it's just so important that we get this going for our children. Our children are our future. Our children are our gifts. And I think children to me, before any kind of corruption happens, they're like crystals to me. They're so pure, and they're great teachers. And they really make you slow down and smell the flowers. You have no choice. And it's just the evolution of life and the way the world works. And they're very divine. And they bring a lot of happiness and joy to people, And parents and people who are not parents. There's kids that are just so cute, and they're just sitting there, and it just brings so much light and happiness into the warmth of hearts. Children like flowers. When you see flowers, you get uplifted and happy. It's like the same thing, So my husband is very passionate about this. He had a conversation to me about this, and I listened to him because he is such a wonderful spirit. He's not from this side of the world. He's from the eastern side of the world, and he has a beautiful, loving perspective and a beautiful high moral compass and sees things in such a beautiful way. And I said, yes, let's just do this. Let's create something wonderful for the children, and something the parent can know and say, you know what? I did this for my child, And there might be, parents that don't have a really solid faith or religion that they have. And so, some faiths have christenings and, they have their communions and different things of that sort for children. So especially if you're in one of those buckets, this would be something that you can physically do with your child, your way, with your intentions, your prayers, and know that your child will be getting the highest blessing. And it's something really sweet and passionate, and we're doing such care and love with this. Our children are our future, and they deserve to be protected and guarded at all times. So anyway, I hope that you find this message insightful, and definitely I've learned a lot from our precious gems. That when people call them precious gems, absolutely, they tell you like it is, and it's always the pure and honest truth, because they have nothing to filter, nothing to gauge. It's just, this is what it is, and I'm going to say it. And children are so divine that way. So anyway, something to think about. My shop is energy. I'm an energy healer, and I love energy. And I have a wonderful shop. It's on Etsy.com, and it's called Happiness Matters 88. And you could take a look at it and see, you could browse through, and, in different times and needs, you might need to have a personalized blend created for you, because a lot of the blends are personalized for you, your energy, where you are today, and what needs to be cleared and strengthened and brightened in your aura and in your biofield. So they're very powerful. A lot of people say they feel light, they feel strong, they feel, powerful, and it's just a wonderful blessings. So take a look, Etsy.com, and the shop is called Happiness Matters. Thank you so much for listening. I enjoy putting these messages out here in the universe. I don't have any children, but these messages are like my little babies. They're like my legacy, because they live on. If something ever happened to me today or tomorrow, these messages will still be out here, and for people to catch and to listen and to be inspired. So I'm just so lucky for this. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye.